teach. Good morning. Today I'm going to teach you on the sketch of our straight skirt. What we need when you are cutting a straight skirt. So now for our front part, assuming our waist is W. This is our waist. After dividing our waist by 4, like we did yesterday. After dividing our waist by 4, assuming after dividing we have gotten answer called A. If our answer is A, in the waist we are going to add 1 inch for the dart. 1 inch for the dart plus 1 inch for stitching in the waist. Assuming this is our waist, we are adding 1 inch for the dart and 1 inch for stitching allowance. Now assuming our hip is B. This is our hip. Assuming our hip is B. If our hip is B, we are only adding stitching allowance, which is 1 inch. And assuming our full length, the length of our skirt is gonna be C, we are adding 1 inch for the hem. 1 inch for hem. So this is how it is going to look like. On fold, I told you when we are cutting the clothes, we cut them on fold. So when it is on fold, we are putting our measurements. This is what we need to have. We need to have a waistline. A waistline. A waistline is where we put the measurements for the waist. It is called a waistline. We need to have a hip line where we put our measurements for the hip. And we need to have the full length where our length for the full skirt is. So this is how it is going to look like. A waistline is where we put our measurements for the waist. The hip line and the waistline, it is the starting point up where the cloth starts from. It is called the waistline. That's what we use as our waistline for the skirt. And the next thing, it is the hip line. This hip line, we get it when it is a young kid, a tenderer, we use 7. When a person is mature, we use 9. So it ranges from 7 to 9. If the person is very tall, 10. That's our hip line. And so that's what we use. So that measurement, we measure from the waist to the hip to get the hip line. So the hip line, it is the line where we put our measurements for the hips. So this is assuming our hip is B, and we are adding 1 for stitching allowance. Next we have the full length. A full length for a straight skirt, with the measurements we use in the hip, we transfer them to the line of the full length, like B and this one. So as it is a straight skirt, we will join it like this, a straight skirt. And that's the front part. That's how our front part is going to look like. We are going to practice it on paper. Next, we have the back part. The back part of the skirt. The back part of the skirt. So the back part of the skirt always has a zipper allowance. Zipper allowance. This one helps us to put the zipper. You remember skirts have zips. So in the back part, there is a zipper allowance. And the rest we just trace the front part here, as you'll be able to see. Thank you. Now we are going to practice it.